When I put the business up for sale, I was inundated with inquiries because I did understand that the business itself that I was building, I actually had a buyer in mind already. I had somebody that I was building this business for, and it was somebody who was like me, in a full-time job, stuck in the corporate career, and they just wanted to do something and have a side hustle.
Welcome to the Kind Boss podcast, brought to you by Outsourcing Angel, an Australian-based social enterprise that specializes in helping business owners free up their time and reduce staffing costs, while helping to create employment opportunities for people in developing countries. Visit outsourcingangel.com today. Now, let me welcome your host, Linh Podetti.
I'm your host, Linh Podetti. Today, we'll be speaking to our kind boss, Jovana Vujnic, Chief Automation Officer at Bumper Leads. Jovana is a marketing automation guru who helps businesses save time, increase sales, and improve their customer experience. Listen on as she shares how you can navigate these uncertain times and come out even stronger by using the right technology to execute your marketing strategy. Hi, Jovana. How are you today?
Hi, Lynn. Nice to see you today. Talk to you. I'm seeing you. This is a video. Yeah.
It's good that we've actually caught up in person in Melbourne. So I really got to know you and had a coffee with you. And I knew you were kind. You are a kind boss. So that's why I want you to be here to have a bit of that kind energy from you, but also to get some real business advice from you around marketing automation. So
happy to be here. And definitely kind, but I have a twin sister, and people used to, when you meet a twin, people say, who's the evil one? So I usually take on the role of an evil twin sister, but I'm actually a really kind person. Promise.
Interesting. So tell me more about being twins. Is it like, are you competitive with one another? Are you helpful? Tell me more of a story. And especially another thing is you guys also work together. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Oh, yes. As twins, we're actually identical twins. And I'm 10 minutes older, which is really long time for twins. And I always look at my twin, Milena. Her name is Milena. I look at her and she's like this younger sister. And look, we have this really same synergy. Energy is like always identical. I know what she's thinking. So when I needed to hire someone to help us in Bumper Leads, which is the marketing automation agency that I run, she pretty much was the carbon copy of me. So I didn't really have to train her much because she already knows me quite well, and she knows technology, and she also has a successful podcast as well. So she's quite in tune with the digital world. And so it makes things easier when you're a twin. And people often ask us, what's it like being a twin? I don't know. I don't know any other way. I always say, what's it like not being a twin? Because that's more interesting for me.
That is so interesting. And I love that you have such a great sisterhood. You're always with each other and you're twins, and yet you found a way to work together. And I guess you're lucky in that she just knows you. And so does it mean that she already knew like you went on the same journey of learning marketing and business together?
Yeah, we did actually. We bought a business together about 7 or 8 years ago, and this was our first time working together. We did have to learn quite a lot of tactics and ways of working out what one wants. It's true partnership. I guess when it comes to business, you really have to understand that we're all aligned on one vision and we have one mission. But essentially it worked well, and we ended up renovating the business. We learned quite a lot about marketing, the branding, systems, just generally digital world. As you can imagine, it's such a general type of, like, anyone can go online and start marketing, doing what so-called marketing, but no one really has a strategy in place to execute that properly. So we essentially learned all of that together, and we ended up rebranding this business. I call it renovating the business, and we sold it and we made profit from that sale. And we said, okay, this is fun. We can do some more things around this. But then I ended up looking to buy more businesses And I found that there was not enough of the ones that I wanted to buy. So you could go on Gumtree. Anyone can do this. You can just go on Gumtree and type in urgent business for sale. People actually type this in. And they want to get rid of their business, and you could easily find a business and buy and renovate that business. So I found that really fun. But people used to ask me, how did you do this? How did you manage to rebrand and do all these sort of things in the business? And that's what Bumper Lead, that's how I came up with Bumper Leads. I founded Bumper Leads based on the idea that you can have great branding, you can have great marketing, but you need the systems to help you execute that. So that's how the journey went.
Interesting. So that's actually really interesting about buying businesses, because I haven't actually bought a business before. So what were you looking for, and what made you decide to buy that business?
Well, I was, just to paint the picture, to give you the context, I was working full-time in the corporate world. My background is actually supply chain and procurement, which doesn't sound very sexy, has nothing to do with marketing.
No way. I did that. I went into a corporate job, supply chain management, and I was a procurement officer.
Get out.
Get
out.
So interesting. Oh my God. Yeah, go on.
But the skills you learn as a procurement professional, you have to be, it's almost consulting skills, and you have to also learn strategy, stakeholder management, change. All of those skills are around how to implement changes in the business and navigate the complex world of corporations. But I did that for about 12 years, and I was bored. I was really bored. I went, and I think last job was in the insurance, which is really boring. I don't know how people work in insurance, but yeah. And then while I had the full-time job, I actually just ended up browsing. And I thought to myself, it's harder to start something from scratch, which is a lot of people, when they think business, you start from scratch. So I found that it's really challenging. It's much easier to buy someone else's blood, sweat, and tears that they've invested in the business, and then be able to leverage that and build it with your skills and knowledge that you have. You can bring in that. So that's how I decided that it's much easier to buy versus to start something from scratch. What I did find in the process of buying another business is that you're buying, yes, their pains and frustrations, and you're also buying the history that goes with that business. You're also buying that branding and marketing and all the bad things that they've done with their business. And so I thought, you know what, within 6 months, I hated it. I really hated being in business. And then I realized I came across a team, I don't know if you know them, Basic Bananas. They help small businesses.
I heard of it. Yeah, I heard of it. I think I've seen some ads. Yeah, they were probably doing a lot of ads.
Yeah, they're really cool, Francisca and Cristo. And they teach small businesses, this was almost 8 years ago, they teach them how to do marketing in-house. And so I attended their coaching program, and that's when I renovated the business and really enjoyed the process, really enjoyed it. And when I put the business up for sale, I was inundated with inquiries because I did understand that the business itself that I was building, I actually had a buyer in mind already. I had somebody that I was building this business for, and it was somebody who was like me, in a full-time job, stuck in the corporate career, and they just wanted to do something and have a side hustle. So a side hustle business that gives somebody an opportunity to have two incomes, which is especially important now with the economy issues that we are experiencing now during the coronavirus pandemic. We are really needing to have extra resources and multiple ways of getting income. It's not just about, having a job anymore. There's no security anymore. So the world is changing, and that's what I've identified 8 years ago. And so with this business, for example, with Bumper Leads, we are still we are one business, but we have 3 different ways of generating income for that business. So you can diversify as well if you do want to just focus on that one business.
Yeah, that is so amazing. I could go on about asking more questions around the buying of the business, but I'll just have one last question on that, because I want to get straight into how did you actually do marketing automation with that business, or even with client business. So with the one that you sold, in order to sell a business, does it have to have a retaining kind of recurring income that's happening? And was it like a multiplication on the earnings? in terms of the
Yeah,
value?
there's so many ways. I mean, you can go and speak to business brokers. So there are business brokers out there in the world. There are also the expensive business brokers like the big four consulting companies. They all specialize in or growth partners. What do they call them? Venture capitalists, equity partners, depending on the appetite for risk that you have. So for me, I thought this is my first time and I'm going to go low. I'm going to go on Gumtree and find something that's up to, $1 million. And so you don't have to always have cash when you buy a business. So you don't even have to have funding or your own money. I wouldn't use that. You could actually buy it as vendor finance. So you don't, you negotiate that as part of your deal and you take the revenue as part of your revenue, you can pay that. When you look at assessing the business, if the business is selling products or services, there may be different ways of calculating the value. So if it's a product business, like an e-commerce, you might be selling e-commerce, well, then it's a different type of multiple that people can assign. In Australia, because we're in Australia, it's a different type of market. I think it's a buyer's market. There's so many businesses out there for sale because we are an aging population. And when you look at the landscape, there are a lot of older generations that own businesses that they just want to get rid of. And so we have a plethora to actually play with and it's a buyer's market. So the multiple of the business then changes. So the e-commerce, people can come up and say, oh, that's 5 times of the profit or revenue. In e-commerce, they might actually use revenue or cash flow rather than the profit margins. In the service business, they look at the years of growth. So if you have year-on-year growth, you should be growing every year. The higher the value, the higher the growth, the higher the value. And so the 5 times, 10 times, 20 times multiple. So it just depends. So people have instruments on how they can, value a business, but you as a buyer, you probably have more power to negotiate a better deal. Or just have more opportunities or more choices to negotiate yourself a better deal.
Yeah. So the only 2 times so I have never bought a business, but I have sold businesses, and I kind of just sold it based on the assets I had. So for example, my nail polish business, which I had at the beginning, I ended up having a website. It's ranked on Google, and I have all these products. So I kind of went, that's worth about $5,000. So I found a buyer for that, and it was just got rid of that. And then another time I started a baby canvas business. And once again, it was just selling the actual asset itself, a website. How much is a website worth, or how much is that? So really interesting to hear about the whole profit stuff.
I love that. I love all of the business negotiations. Maybe that's the procurement background coming out from us, because you'll be surprised. A lot of people don't know they can actually sell, that the business is an asset in the first place, and that they can actually sell that. They would rather shut it down. When they're really angry or frustrated with their business, they would rather walk away. And that really becomes emotional rather than a business person taking over the situation. So I think there is, actually it's more, I believe it's more expensive to shut it down than to sell it personally, because you have to obviously go through all the books, close everything. It may take you about $4,000 just to close the business, essentially. So I think also with the system side, and I know you were going to ask me about bumper leads and that, but and going back to procurement, so merging my systems and processes and procurement knowledge and my marketing knowledge is how I found that marketing automation was like the perfect fit for any business, really. You could be running any business. I just happen to be in the consultancy space. But if you know the skills of a marketing automation person, you could apply it in any business, and that will definitely increase the revenue of your business.
Yes.
Or the sale price.
Yeah, I mean, a business is not worth anything if it relies on the owner to be there.
Oh.
So the whole automation is so important. Okay, so let's get straight into automation, right? So, when I started in business, and for many, many years, whatever emails I get in my system, I put it all into this email system, maybe even as simple as MailChimp. And then, email them out once a month or once a week, and just boom out. Only to realize years later how that is really not called marketing automation. It's not really, it's just like super beginner kind of thing. And I think a lot of businesses fall in that. There are businesses that never even take advantage of their database. They they just don't nurture it. And then there's ones that just do it super basic beginner like that. So yeah, can you tell me more about, I guess, these challenges and
what is marketing automation? Huh?
Yes.
Well, look, 5 years ago, when I started Bumper Leads and I was toying with this idea of marketing automation, I didn't even know that there was this field of marketing automation. It's really a software industry has come up with this terminology, marketing automation. It's a new buzzword marketing people love to use. If you've come across softwares like MailChimp and then Infusionsoft and Entrepreneur, there's a plethora of all these software and CRMs. These are essentially marketing automation tools. 10 years ago, when we use MailChimp, my definition of MailChimp is that it's actually perfectly designed to send external messages to your customers. So we use MailChimp to send external emails. Marketing automation allows us to be more dynamic and to send messages based on when something happens in the business or when something doesn't happen. And it doesn't have to be always an email that you send to a customer. It can also be an internal notification to your sales teams. When a customer places an order, you send them a message only when they place an order. So they're now a customer. So you don't treat them the same way as if they did not place the order when they were a new lead. So there are ways to segment your customers and leads so you can then deliver better messages to them. And so my definition of marketing automation is that we're using technology to help us execute our marketing strategy. So in Bumper Leads, that's what we end up doing with a lot of business owners. We're workshopping ideas on, hey, what happens when a new lead comes into your business? What do you want that to happen? If I see that there is a gap in their process, then I would say, hey, ideally, you could save yourself time and get more money, and you can have your sales team focusing on these high value activities rather than chasing them on the phone calls. And so you can use technology to help you really qualify leads better and not waste time as a business owner.
Okay, so you said that I can definitely see that if you automate something, you should definitely save time, right? Because it's just automated. What other benefits can you explain? Because I know you just mentioned that you could make more sales, but in what way? How does it make more sales, and any other benefits apart from, I guess, time saving?
Well, it can. So let's say you had or my business in e-commerce. How I came across automation is that I had to hire salespeople to do a lot of door knocking. My business was in the, I would say, alcohol business. So I was selling physical products, and I had to hire people to door knock and things. And when I discovered that I could just collect leads and send an email, which is one way of automating things, with this enticing offer, I could clear my stock. My whole stock is cleared with a couple of emails. So imagine the amount of effort that went into generating the email versus hiring a salesperson and getting them to do all the influencing only to sell maybe 2 or 3 cases of beer. So for me, I saw the power and the leverage of using technology to reach a bigger audience that really required less time. So I could do more with less. In this situation, for example, I was just with another e-commerce client who has seen a significant drop in the sales because of the coronavirus and this COVID-19 thing that's happening. And this is across, I would say, 75% of categories of any industry, we're seeing drops. Now, the people who are really, when I look at all the accounts of my clients, people who are making sales, they have a list. They have a list of dedicated, they've collected this list, the database of their potential leads, the customers, any contacts. And now you have no option but to communicate with them via email or via Facebook, via social media. And these people are making money. So while you don't want to spend money on Facebook and advertising, maybe until you pivot your message or things change, maybe people are not ready to buy from you right away, you have a database of customers or contacts or leads that you could start having conversations now. So you're front of mind, people know that you're okay, and you can still sell. So you can imagine, supermarkets and people, I think the online sales have increased by 25% since March, I think, since the lockdown. So there is definitely opportunity if you can use technology smartly and help you automate that processes in your business, so you can definitely make more money and save time.
Awesome. That is so many amazing tips. And I'm going to ask you some more. But before I do that, I'm going to ask you a few questions. It's called the high five. So this is where I'm going to ask you 5 different questions, which you have to choose this or that. Very simple. You have a multiple choice. You don't have to think. And if you just give me the answer and I guess elaborate a little bit, so then we get to know you a little. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Sure.
All right. So cardio or weights?
Weights. Can I say reformer Pilates? Because that's my favorite. So I used to be a bodybuilder back in the day, and I used to be a fitness instructor. So I have so many injuries from lifting heavy weights, and that I found reformer Pilates to be like the perfect weight training with no impact type of exercise. So I love that.
Interesting. You're going to send me an example video of what it is like, or the typical
reformer,
exercise.
that whole carriage, the
oh wow, okay, we're going to need that big machine.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for the gyms to open.
Okay.
Because, that's really helpful.
Yeah. All right, wine or cocktail?
Wine.
Mm-hmm. Red or white then?
Shiraz. I love Shiraz.
That's
Australian
red.
Shiraz. Yes.
Yep, red. Okay.
I've traveled all around the world when we were able to travel. So I traveled for like 12 months, and every country I went to, I always missed Australian Shiraz.
Any brand, as in that you felt like it was all just good in general?
Oh, just all in general is good.
Okay.
Every country has their own different unique grape types and varieties.
Yeah.
But I always miss that sharp, I think, the robust, full flavor of Shiraz red wine.
What country are you from again?
Oh, I'm originally from Serbia, which is
Serbia.
why there's an accent.
Yeah.
I lived in Australia now for 15 years and New Zealand for 8 years. So I can't remove the accent, it's there.
Okay. Next question. Flowers or a gift voucher?
Okay, that's a good question. Because we're actually thinking about this for our business. We send gifts to clients. And we were thinking of actually doing cupcakes, sending gifts, or talking about gift vouchers. So it's very easy to get, a gift voucher. I love the flowers because it brings a smile to people's faces, and it's special. It's more personal, and a gift voucher might be more impersonal. Perceived to be impersonal, but I don't know. For a kind boss like me, I would say flowers.
Yeah, I agree. I think the voucher has this kind of double-edged thing. It's like one is you're going to get to choose what you want, but then it looks like you didn't even get that person didn't care and just had last-minute kind of idea to buy your gift voucher. Okay, laundry or dishes?
Dishes. I don't know. Well, I know that I don't cook in my family. My husband is a cook. And so we have clearly divided our roles in the kitchen. He cooks, I do the dishes.
Yeah.
But we both do laundry. Laundry is easy. I find doing the dishes, it takes time. But I find that time I get to think about business, or I'm listening to a podcast. I'm using it for me, like it's me time.
Yeah. I don't mind the laundry apart from the ironing. I hate that part. But good
answers.
Your husband does that too?
I don't think we do. I think for his shirts, we basically just go to a dry cleaner.
That's true. Do it. Yep. All right. Last question. Forest or beach?
We live on the beach. So I love the ocean, but I miss the green scenery of the trees. So we want to escape somewhere, like go on a weekend away, somewhere where there's no ocean. Can I say that I like both?
All right, you can. All right, but I think deep down you beach, right? But
beach.
Forest is because you're bored. You just want to do something different.
Yes,
okay.
Correct.
All right, thank you, Jovana. We got to know you a lot more there. All right, so we'll go back to business. How has it been for you since the whole coronavirus? Let's talk about the coronavirus, because I also want to lead to, some of the things that businesses can do during this time as well.
Yeah, look, for us, we're quite lucky in a way that we've always been virtual as a business. We've always used technology to, do business.
Yep.
And most of our clients need us during these times to go online. So we're working with a few clients who are taking their physical medical practices or things that they were doing in like physical trainings and things in person. They're taking them online. So we're building online learning type of communities for them and using then automation to plug that in. So essentially, we're finding that there's no impact. However, some of our clients have been impacted by the coronavirus, which is really sad. So for us, I've been trying to negotiate some of the deals with some of the software companies where we could help these clients navigate through the storm.
Yeah. So with the coronavirus now that's happened, like I know you mentioned some of your clients who has a list have been able to kind of push through further. Can you give me more tips around the whole coronavirus thing for business in general?
So I would say if you are not new business, but any business generally speaking, and facing this coronavirus pandemic, it's going to be very difficult to sell, like go for the hard sell and expect people to be ready to part with their money. So I would say that for the next 2 or 3 months, what I would be doing is that as a business owner, I'm thinking it's a perfect opportunity to launch anything online, do a lot of content marketing, and start focusing on building a list of leads. So that may not necessarily be customers. So you're not going to go and make the sale. If you have enough cash in the bank, or you have that longer, as we say, runway in the business, if you have that runway, focus on delivering the best value, offer things for free where you can, and start building an audience, a community, because when the tide turns, you're going to be ready. You're going to be in front of your competitors, because your competitors are all afraid. They're, contracting their business. They're, thinking about fear. They're quite fearful. You can just see Facebook and Google. If you've been doing a lot of paid advertising, the cost to advertise now during the pandemic is about 50% cheaper. So it's never been the perfect time to actually go and buy your new leads now, because you're paying far less for them now. So that's my tip. There's a massive opportunity that we all as business owners can take during the pandemic.
Yeah. And so especially now, I also see that there is a rise in content. So what's your recommendation how to actually stand out and be able to build a list and make people go? Because nowadays there's more free content as well, right? That's the challenge.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to going online, it's always been, even before the pandemic, it's quite noisy. It's quite busy. You really have to know who your ideal customer is, who you're talking to. And where I see a lot of business owners getting confused or lost is they try to be everything to everyone, and it's really hard when you have to talk and tell your story to someone. It's really hard to talk to just like a group of 200 people, because everyone is on different levels. So I always say, pick one person that you would love to go out and have a coffee and not just once, but twice or 3 times, and start delivering content for that person. And then people will come. The people will be drawn, and your energy will shine. You'll be more authentic because you're talking to the people you want to attract. So it really isn't that hard to stand out online, because we are seeing a lot of generic content out there. So I think if you are picking one type of person that you want to talk to, you'll attract a lot more people.
Yeah, love that advice. And you've got a free download for us too, right? Can you tell us more about that? Yeah.
I do. I would love to share my download with your listeners. They can go to bumperleads.com/tasks, and they can actually download the 30 automation tasks they can do in their business right now that can generate some revenue, and also they can save at least 10 hours a week just by using some of the common software that we have out there to help you automate your tasks.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your generosity. Well, my question to you is, what does a kind boss mean to you?
A kind boss. So in Bumper Leads, when I started Bumper Leads, for me, it was important to have like a foundation, which is values in the business, and a vision. And so that is really the basis for a kind boss, is to have a very clear vision and to practice the values in the business. So for us, it's the vision in the business is fall in love with your business again. That's I've seen so many people frustrated in their businesses. They hate their businesses. They want to walk away from their businesses. And I have a feeling that I can help them. And I think it's wrong. You can fall in love with your business again. And this is through systems, through doing things better, just becoming more smart. If you just upskill yourself in different areas, you could certainly improve your business. So there's no reason to hate your business. And the values that we have, the first one that stands out for us is smile, share, and give. And I did that because as a corporate person, I was so frustrated with the corporate jargon, and we have this allergic reaction to people, using big language that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't tell any story. So smile, share, and give is such an easy, memorable value that all our employees can actually practice easily. And we could also call them on if they don't. So I love that. That's about being a kind boss. Through, values and vision.
Oh my God, I really love that. You've just inspired me, because I think that sometimes when you have the value of like honest or kind, you actually don't know how to make that happen. But your value is saying smile, because that is how you're going to be, smile and share and give. That's actually the actionable step to be able to achieve that value. Oh my God, that is light bulb moment for me there.
The other one we have that people like is we have a strict no douchebag policy.
I love that.
So that's, I can't be a douchebag, so I have to be kind.
I love that. It's so honest and so straightforward, and we can already tell by you having that, you're kind of the straight to the point kind of people. Yes. You're not here to being, whatever.
Straight talker. That's us.
Love it. All right. Last question for you is, what do you want to leave behind in this world? Like, what do you want us to remember you for?
That I'm good and kind. I want to leave a legacy where people can look up to me and say she was just a great person.
Oh, beautiful.
He helped me.
I love it. Thank you so much, Jovana. I mean, we had such a fun talk. I just wanted to delve into so many areas more, but that's all what 30 minutes give you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking with you, Lynn. All the best.
Bye.
Thank you for joining our podcast today. We hope this interview has inspired and humbled you to be a kind boss. Please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and let us know what you think about our show. If you have any questions, please visit outsourcingangel.com. Until then, stay kind and spread love.